From inside TD Garden, where the Boston Celtics just topped the Charlotte Hornets 113-107, I am Josue Pavone alongside Bobby Manning to recap the game. 6 Celtics players in double figures, Bobby. Josh Richardson led the way with 23 points. You had 22 from Marcus Smart, and you got a real gritty character win for this Boston Celtics team. I mean, down the stretch, it was Jayson Tatum who earned that technical foul, made things really interesting for the Charlotte Hornets, but the Celtics didn't falter. They kept their composure, and the end result was a game-winning block from Robert Williams on one end and a bucket on the other. Celtics up by 4, and the game was over.
Yep, and that technical from Tatum was just so dramatic. Him tossing the chalk, and it almost looked like another meltdown moment for this team. 9 and 17 in clutch situations coming into this one. The lead starts evaporating. Another double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. Hornets end up tying it on Terry Rozier's 3 there, but Marcus Smart draws some free throws. Jaylen Brown hits a shot at the elbow, and they get those 2 key stops as well there. And the defense, to me, locked down. I asked Terry Rozier after the game what makes the Celtics so difficult to defend, and a lot of it's stuff he knows. Smart at the point of attack, Horford in the pick and roll, and Rob, weak side blocking. That starting 5, most of them on the floor except Richardson for Horford late, just shut things down, and with extra pace, extra ball movement, big assist nights for Tatum and Brown. This is a group that seems to be finding its identity, and it may not be an identity that drives them deep into the playoffs, but it's enough to beat some good teams. And don't underrate the Hornets. Fully healthy here, aside from Hayward, that is a really good team.
What do you think is the in terms of the Celtics offense, like what's changed here in the pace? Is it Marcus Smart mostly? Can we say that? And I feel like people can say that, or they can go with Jaylen, or the fact that Tatum is becoming such a better playmaker these past couple of months. But which one is it? Is it a cohesive unit between the 3? Because at the end of the day, I feel like this Celtics team, they're in a type of focus where we haven't seen that 3 weeks ago, or at least a month ago, it felt like. And here they are.
Yeah, it's those 3 guys. And Rob, to some degree, too, he had that nice pass to Richardson, cutting layup there. They're relying on him a little bit, but it's mostly the big 3 in terms of their facilitating. Tatum, Brown, Smart pushing the pace more, getting them into the offensive zone faster. You saw him pick up his dribble in some spots, really hesitate and make some key decisions there, not rush things. Right. He's been so mature and confident as a ball handler this year, and listen, his return, I think, is starting to look like a turning point for this season, but Tatum deserves a ton of credit, too. He goes downhill at this point every time, it feels like. You remember a couple years ago when it was like drive? Well, now he just does it like it's nothing. He draws so much pressure in those spots. How many times did he drive and kick to Smart? And Smart starting to hit some shots here. And the group as a whole, that's what Ime said after the game. They've liked the looks that they've gotten all year. The shots are just starting to fall. So you see the impact of what finishing can do for them.
So much has been made about the trade deadline. What are the Celtics going to do? Are they going to buy? Are they going to sell? Do you pave a way for the younger guys to get some minutes in there? I know right now we're smiling at the thought of that because we haven't seen the Pritchards or the Neesmith as much lately.
They've been completely uninvolved over the last 10 or 14 win streak here.
Right, and it's been all about the veterans. So some people would say, oh, well, this is a perfect time to sell those guys, right? To trade those veterans and sort of give these guys somewhat of a chance here. Or are you on the other side of the camp, thinking that this team could go out and get someone that can improve this roster and see if Jayson Tatum and Brown and Marcus Smart can all build off of someone like that?
Well, I wouldn't overreact to this win streak. The schedule's gotten softer. This was the first win that convinced me out of all the games that they've won here. It's been one bad team after another, and they're going to hit Orlando and Detroit again this weekend. So there's not a ton to tell you that they're capable of making a big run here if they really load up. So I wouldn't let this streak deter what their plan was anyway. And I've said, one way or another, I'm fine. Buy and start to believe in this team actually making a run here. That might be tricky with how stacked the East is this year. Or sell and clear some way for youth minutes. And to me, with Ime not prioritizing that as much as he does, and there really not being a prerogative above to push minutes their way, I don't know how dedicated they are to the Romeos, Neesmiths, and Pritchards. And in fact, Jared Weiss told me on Dome Theory yesterday that he wouldn't be surprised if they move on from Langford and Neesmith at this deadline. So it could go the other way too. Start to move on from some of those younger players and return for some reliable veterans in those situations, whether it's a Norman Powell or Harrison Barnes. I'd love that, especially if you're able to parlay some picks into that. I think it's due time for them to solidify that extra wing spot that they lost when Gordon Hayward got shipped out for Charlotte.
Right. Absolutely. Well, we are 1 week away from the NBA trade deadline on February 10th. Of course, for all your coverage and reaction to the rumors that have been swirling around the NBA, you know where to find us, right? CLNS Media will be covering all that, of course, reacting to it. And again, 7 days away, Bobby. Things could get interesting in terms of what we hear.
Live quite a bit.
I mean, between now and the deadline, the things that we're going to hear, it could get really crazy, Bobby. So brace yourself.
I'm always thrilled to this time of year. When the picks start, when we hear about trading picks, when those rumors start, that's when I'm going to get really excited.
That's going to do it for us here at TD Garden. The Boston Celtics will head on the road. They're at Detroit, and then after that, they're at Orlando, I believe, right? So
Brooklyn on Tuesday. I will be there for that.
That's right.
Coverage on the road. And Celtics All Access, that's where you get these videos. Subscribe there as well as CLNS Media.
That's going to do it for me. I am Joseph Pavone. He is Bobby Manning. Until next time, guys, we'll see you then. Stay tuned for plenty more coverage, including the Jaylen Brown report that came out of Heavy.com.
Heavy.com. Joe Sway and company.
We'll tell you all about it. Stay tuned.